Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Wednesday, October 14, 2015. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is refuting claims by the president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, that some 40% of teachers stayed away from the classroom yesterday for the joint strike action by the SVG-TU and the Public Service Union. On the radio today, the Prime Minister says reports from the Ministry of Education indicate that less than 15% of teachers stayed off the job. He also denied that some schools were forced to close. Reiterating that the strike action was a failure, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says only 3 schools, the Mary Hutchinson Primary in Union Island, the Beckway Anglican High School, and the Union Methodist, had a significant low student turnout.
So when the Ministry of Education said that less than 20% of the students stayed away, the teachers stayed away, they're absolutely correct. But the numbers indicate that you would have below 15% if you take all the schools, including the secondary schools.
Yes.
Because of the numbers which the police gave me of the 41 schools, which included 31 primary and 10 secondary, is 89% of the teachers and staff were present. You will see that this was an abysmal failure. And Oswald Robinson is talking through his hat. I could tell him that. There's nothing close to 40% of the teachers who attended. And I have the numbers to prove it. So where he gets his numbers from. These are numbers which were phoned into the ministry by the various principals and persons in charge of the schools. And it is not true that any school was closed. Absolutely untrue.
Pointed out that only 4 of the 9 executive members of the teachers union went on strike. The Prime Minister says that his door remains open for further negotiation with the unions.
My door remains open to the union leaders. They might take a few days to lick their wounds. I'm not gloating, because this is a sad occasion for the union. And as a union man myself, that section of the leadership misled the teachers very badly. But instead of that, they're living in a fool's paradise still. I want simply to say that the doors of the Prime Minister are opened. As I had said in July when we met, that I'd like us to meet in October again to look at the September fiscal outturn for up to the 3rd quarter. I am still available for that discussion and to give them my thoughts. After all, the government is the employer.
And the Ministry of Education, in a media release issued today by Chief Education Officer Luan Gilchrist, states that yesterday's industrial action by the SVG-TU was unable to cause disruption to the normal operations of the school system. Gilchrist states in the release that their data on teacher attendance indicate that more than 80% of teachers were on duty, and that the absences can be attributed naturally to a variety of reasons, including illness and teachers having medical or other appointments. As for the students' attendance, the ministry says in very few schools was the attendance below the daily average, and that this can be attributed to a variety of reasons, which may include the uncertainty which might have created in the minds of parents who thought that teacher attendance might not have been able to support their children's comfort at school. The education officer also thanked all teachers for their cooperation in adhering to the call to perform their duties as normal, in spite of the earlier call by the SVG-TU for them to withdraw their services. and choosing not to respond to the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Education claim that there was not a 40% support by teachers for yesterday's strike action. President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, says the focus should and will be on carrying out the mandate of the union members. Robinson told SVG-TV News earlier today that he and the executive was and will continue to carry out the membership call for a 1-month tax-free salary, which he says is owed to them.
When he said our proposal is reasonable, then he went back in the public and said it's unreasonable. When we said we're not having any conversation, he went to the parliament and told the parliament he's still having conversation with us. We told him we're going back to our membership, and that is what we did. And our membership gave us a mandate. So he's saying that the membership has ill-advised us. The membership gave a mandate to demand. And according to our constitution, let me quote it for you, on page 9 of our constitution, it says that the National Executive, 4.47, the National Executive shall ensure implementation of decisions and programs made at the Biennial Convention, National General Meeting, and General Council, and to monitor all developments in the Union and takes necessary steps for the realization of the objects of the Union, the objectives of the Union. The executive has a responsibility to carry out any mandate that the supreme body, the Biennial Convention or the National General Meeting would give.
Robinson further states that he is disappointed in the manner in which Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is responding to formal correspondence from the union, which he says is a professional organization and deserves to be treated as such.
Not respectable. It's not respectful. Are you respect the Prime Minister? He's the Prime Minister. He's the leader. And I would never disrespect him. And that is why anytime I am interfacing with the government, I would formalize, put it formally. So we came, after the membership met on December, we came, we wrote a letter. It was supposed to be signed by the President and the General Secretary. According to our Constitution, I signed it. Because I didn't want any delay. We wanted to be communicated back to him for him to know what the membership decided. So right away we opened the door and we wanted to have the conversation. But he's the one who went publicly and spoke to the public and said all kind of things, you know, and then now saying, my door is still open. And we have said that we go into a membership. We have heard from our membership and we communicated what the membership said.
SVG needs a more technically able workforce if the country is to achieve the desired economic and social development from investors. That's according to Dr. Rosalind Ambrose, president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Medical Association, in her address earlier today to the youths gathered for the opening ceremony of the 2015 11th Annual College and Career Exhibition at the Kingston Methodist Church Hall under the theme, "The depth of your investment is the height of your career success." The fair is hosted by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with the SVG Medical Association. Dr. Ambrose encourages parents and teachers to support their child's aspirations into a more technical field instead of encouraging them to take up a regular job where there is plenty of competition and a scarcity of available positions on the local job market.
But as it is, we have so little to offer in terms of available technical skills that we cannot yet fit in. We need to build more knowledgeable, more technical workforce and move towards that level that could lure large industries to set up in our small island states. So why are we not doing that? I believe we need to change that dynamic. As parents, guardians, and teachers, we want everything positive for our children. everything that is good and wholesome. We want their foundation to be strong, and certainly we want them to embrace a positive life. Making early and knowledgeable choices about your career to capitalize on the wider possibilities which are possible in other developing countries is an essential.
Dr. Ambrose says that a good education is the key to changing one's social and financial circumstances and will assist in achieving a higher level of success. Additionally, she urges the students to make the most out of their education because choosing the right career path has a lot to do with the subjects they study in school and excel at.
Good education is the single most thing that can be used to change your life, better your standard of living, make it possible for you to do many more inspiring things in your lifetime. And trust me, there are a truckload of inspiring things for this generation to benefit from. These encounters you will have today and tomorrow at this exhibition are aimed at helping students like yourselves to design some future plans. I want to remind you that the statistics continue to support the fact that over the last 10 years or so, St. Vincent and Grenadines has many more young people studying all sorts of exciting things in more countries around the world than any other English-speaking country in the Caribbean.
Delivering the feature address, recording artist and president of the SVG Association of Music Professionals, Randy Bomani Charles, advises the young people present at the career fair to choose a career that they know they will love and enjoy, which will result in an added effort being invested to reap greater gains.
You be prepared to work hard, to sacrifice, to overcome your fears, and you will find that when you inevitably fall, stumble, and yes, fail in some cases, that the overwhelming desire to pursue your passion will allow you the strength and the determination to pick yourself up and to move forward on your way to fulfilling your special purpose. So let's talk about the depth of your investment in relation to the height of your career success. What this simply means is you reap what you sow. Yeah? Those of us who spend time around our grandparents are familiar with this expression. You get out what you put in. So there's no doubt in my mind that once you have identified the thing that you love most to do and then choose that as your career path, that you will be successful. The question is, how successful will you be?
The National Insurance Services, in its continued effort to enhance its services to the elderly, will be holding a Pensioners Appreciation Day tomorrow in partnership with the Corporate St. Vincent at its headquarters, commencing at 9 in the morning. The NIS says the pensioners are being recognized for laying the foundation for the social security system in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as their significant contribution towards a nation building. At tomorrow's event, remarks will be made by the chairman of the National Insurance Board, Lennox Bowman, and the deputy director of the NIS, Dr. Minerva Glasgow. The feature address will be delivered by Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for Social Security, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. The event will be held under the theme Recognizing, Respecting, and Reconnecting Retirees. The coroner's inquest into the rock gutter incident on January 12th this year, which resulted in the death of 7 students from the Fancy community, has been adjourned. The inquest, which started on Monday, October 5th, 2015, and continued today with a visit to the site by authorities, heard evidence from some 30 persons, including 2 pathologists. According to information received, the break has been taken for the coroner to do his submission and for the jury to deliberate on the evidence provided. The session will resume on November 3rd at the Georgetown Magistrate Court at 9:30 a.m. The prevalence of gun-related crimes and murders in this country signify that Vincentians are becoming heavily dependent on individuals who are involved in criminal activities. That's according to lawyer Julian Jack, who was a panelist on last Sunday's Hit Store program discussing the topic of the escalation of gun-related crimes and murders in the country and the role of the government and people in addressing this issue. Jack notes that these individuals usually have family members and friends that they give financial support to, which give the criminals more encouragement to continue in this lifestyle. He adds that unless effective poverty alleviation and hunger eradication programs and projects can be implemented to root out this problem, violence and crime involving the use of guns and ammunition will remain a key issue in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
We have to look at the constitutional makeup of a lot of things here, because this is a very broad topic, as it were, very broad indeed. Never mind it may just sort of resonate with, the incidents of gun violence and so on from time to time. But it's a very broad sort of stretch in relation to the issues here in this topic as I see them. Now, the issue that is germane to this would show, to my mind, what is a growing body of evidence with regard to the causes of crime and criminality in societies. It's a social phenomenon, because in many jurisdictions or countries, you of course would realize that by reading the media, the newsprint, electronic media, whatever have you, that there are countries that are grappling with the same sorts of problems.
Chief Prosecutor at the Serious Offences Court, Adolphus Delplech, is of the view that a strong message must be sent to the persons who will want to introduce prohibited items into the prisons here. Delplech made the point to Chief Magistrate Rayshon Brown today when Teresa Gaines, a 29-year-old domestic of Layu, appeared in court and pleaded guilty to 2 separate charges of attempting to smuggle 1 gram of marijuana and a cellular phone into her magistrate's prison on February 27th this year. The items were discovered in a transparent bag which contained fruits and peanuts by a prison officer who was on duty. Delplech told the court that too many cell phones are presently in the prison, which inmates are using to transact illegal business with persons on the outside, and this must be stopped. He went on to commend the prison officer for a job well done. A fine of $1,000 was imposed upon Gaines for the cellular phone, of which $400 was to be paid forthwith or face 2 months behind bars. The balance is to be paid by November 5th, 2015. In default, an additional 6 months will be imposed. She was also ordered to pay $50 forthwith for the marijuana. And the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force is seeking information as to the whereabouts of this young man, 15-year-old Royal Boy. The police say Boyd, a resident of New Montrose, is wanted in connection with numerous incidents of burglaries, robberies, as well as vehicle break-ins. Boyd is said to be 5 feet 4 inches, dark brown in complexion, with a narrow face, thick lips, and has small scar on his left hand. The police say he is considered very dangerous. Anyone with information can contact the officer in charge, CID, the CRO, the MCU at telephone numbers 4561810 or 4571211 or any police station. The Quilt Performance Arts Company out of Jamaica, along with talented teen Desoni York from St. Martin, will be the guest performers at the staging of the 2015 Scotiabank National Secondary School Heritage Pageant, scheduled for Saturday, October 31st, 2015. This announcement was made today at a media conference hosted by the National Heritage Organization, the coordinator of the pageant. Committee member Avia Charles says the theater company, which will be here for a week, will be visiting various schools, showcasing their artistic talent, highlighting issues such as sexually transmitted diseases, among others. Charles says the venture is a partnership with the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, through the Ministry of Health to help educate youngsters on issues which are affecting them.
On Saturday, October 24th, The Quilt Performing Arts Company QPAC, born out of the Philip Sherlock Center for the Creative Arts at the University of the West Indies, Mona, will arrive in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for 1 week. They are a dynamic group of young creative artists who use transformative theater as a means of tackling social issues. This award-winning company is the brainchild of Mr. Ryan McLean, a 2010 recipient of the Prime Minister's Youth Awards for Arts and Culture. The Quilt Performing Arts Company aims to develop young talented individuals through various art forms such as drama, music, dance, creative writing, technical theater, and multimedia.
And coordinator of the Raga Show event, another component of the upcoming National Heritage Organization activities, S.E. Roberts says the finalists of the competition have been selected for the pre-show event, which will take place at Heritage Square on Saturday, October 24th.
Now the finalists are Mad Skull, doing a song called All You Know Me, Kev, Small Thing, Scorpion, Hammond Count, Azari, Best Wine, Keith Currency, Piece of This, Splendid, Who Better Than We, Allergy, No Money, No Dugu Dugu, Johnny Rebel, Move It, Rusty, Wine in Time, Elegance, New Dance, and Pat Ralph, The Ride. Now, from the list I just called, you'll recognize that there are a number of songs. There are some songs from this year, 2015, and there are songs from years back. And this is one of the things that this is one of the rules of the competition, that it was not mandated for persons to do their 2015 songs. You could have chosen a song from any year, any song of their choice, once it's their original song. So we are pleased to see that we are resurrecting some of the songs from past and blending with some of the new songs for this year.